everybody, I'm Gina Bennett. I'm pretty sure this is our last video for group dynamics, so I hope it's a good one. Teams are changing fast, and what I've learned from watching the TED Talks is that personalities matter. It almost seems like we've come full circle from expecting people to just get along to realizing we need to facilitate time for individuals to get to know one another on a more human level. Like the golf metaphor, nuances matter for teamwork and for the win. So today I'm going to talk about 3 ideas: how cultural diversity shapes team dynamics, how modern teams are evolving, and what it takes to succeed in virtual teamwork. According to Bantz, diverse teams bring both tremendous advantages and serious challenges. On one hand, diversity increases creativity, problem solving, and perspective. Yet, on the other hand, it makes coordination, communication, and trust more difficult. Bantz explains that cross-cultural teams must navigate differences in power and distance, how authority is viewed, individualism versus collectivism, and communication styles and basic work norms. For example, something as simple as decision-making can look completely different across cultures. Some teams expect consensus, others expect a leader to decide. Diversity isn't automatically a strength. It becomes a strength when teams actively manage it through communication, adaptability, and shared goals. Tannenbaum and colleagues argue that teams today are fundamentally different from traditional teams. In the past, teams were stable, co-located, meaning in the same place, and clearly structured. But today's teams are dynamic. People join and leave frequently, distributed across locations and different time zones all over the world, and technology-driven, relying on digital communication. They describe this as a shift toward fluid, complex, and rapidly changing environments. One major shift in this dynamic is how they are made up. Team membership is no longer fixed. People rotate in and out and might work on multiple teams at once. Another shift is technology and distance. Sometimes you'll have a Teams meeting and somebody's in Hawaii and somebody's on vacation, but they're on the meeting, or you can hear somebody's baby or their dog barking in the background. That never used to happen in the office. So we have to have some grace for all these changes. And the teams are now defined not by the space or where they're at, but by connection. And finally, empowerment and flexibility. Teams are expected to adapt quickly, solve problems, and operate with less hierarchy. The implication is huge for this because many traditional team strategies, like fixed roles or one-at-a-time training, doesn't work anymore. So what does it take to succeed? Crum and colleagues studied the skills needed for virtual teamwork and found that virtual teams require different competencies than traditional teams. Some of the most important include self-management, the ability to work independently without constant supervision, digital communication skills, especially writing clearly and effectively, and trust building, even without face-to-face interaction. Adaptability and problem solving is also important, and intercultural awareness. Interestingly, they found that skills like analyzing information and making decisions are even more important in virtual teams. Why? Because communication can be delayed, incomplete, or ambiguous. People have to interpret information and act without immediate feedback. While I was working as a grants coordinator, I noticed our team meetings began with a lot of banter while people joined the meeting, something that didn't happen in the boardroom when people were physically present. Also, I don't think there was even one meeting where everyone joined without a technology issue on the Teams meetings that I attended. There was always one or two whose video or audio didn't work, or they cut out because their server cut out, or something like that. And it wouldn't happen in the office. In the old days, people just came in and, looked at their notes or scribbled, or, they didn't carry their phones with them or anything like that. When we started using cell phones at, our big directors meetings, sometimes somebody would text me from across the room and remind me to say something that I needed to say. That didn't happen when it was just people talking with no technology. The meeting didn't start in the physical way until everyone was present, or it would start on time if the leader, decided to do that, which is what I think. Teams should start on time, and if they start on time, then people will not be so late. So here's the challenge. Virtual teams often struggle with trust, cohesion, and communication and technology, especially when members are geographically and culturally dispersed, partly because they have different bandwidth and are using different platforms. So teams today are more diverse, more dynamic, and more virtual. Success requires intentional communication, cultural awareness, flexibility, and a good IT person that that can help you. A lot of times you can also Google something that you need to know right away on the side. And strong accountability. No one doodles through the meeting, but sometimes they turn their video off, and I have to wonder what's up. So what's the bottom line? The future of work is teamwork, but not the kind we used to do. The teams that succeed are the ones that learn to adapt. And a good leader needs good communication skills and a sense of personhood. Thank you for listening. I'm looking forward to your comments.